Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm Ricky Tabruggi, founder creator of Kansas Missing and Unsolved, and my co-host Derek Relaford is joining me again tonight. How are you doing tonight, Derek?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Trying to stay well. I work at what's called an essential store, so I'm essentially at risk every day, just about.
Yeah. I yeah, so everything's been crazy. I was just telling Ricky before the show started that I forgot it was Thursday. I forgot we had a show. We this whole virus, man, has it's like I don't know. Are you in the same boat? Like, do you find yourself just like losing track of time because you're just doing so much of you can't go anywhere?
Not really, because like I said, I'm still actively working. I'm still doing my 40 plus hours a week and stuff like that. So I'm still kind of sticking to the norm a little bit. I mean, like I said, the only thing we've done is we've instead of closing at 10, we're closing at 8, so we can use that last 2 hours to really disinfect the store down really good before we go home and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. But at least here in Phoenix, where I'm at, everybody seems to be in good spirits. I went out
Yeah,
today for a little while. I didn't get too close to anybody, closer than I needed to.
right.
But everybody seems to be in good spirits. Everybody's sort of ready to get out of there. Everybody's sort of ready to hear the all whistle, all clear whistle blow, and have it be okay
Mhm.
to resume everyday life and stuff. But for the most part, everybody's sort of happy to still be here. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. I did see where they've made modifications to the model as far as the number of fatalities. They've actually lowered it considerably what they originally thought there was going to be. They're attributing it to people doing the social distancing and things like that.
Yeah. Which, if you're listening and watching, hopefully you're doing that, staying away from as many people as possible, keeping your germs and their germs away from each other. And yeah, and we appreciate everybody watching tonight. If you could share the show, it could help
Yeah.
bring somebody home. Just share the show in any kind of group that you think would fit this.
Mhm.
And Ricky, what do you say we try to solve some cases, man? You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, man. This is our first slide. Go ahead and get into it.
Alrighty. And this one is Billy Bob Black and Mary Lou Black. They went missing from Atchison, Kansas on September 11, 2009, so just about 11 years ago. Billy was 74 when he went missing. He'd be 84 now. 6 foot tall, 190, gray hair, brown eyes. Mary was 72 when she went missing. She'd now be 83. She was 5'1", 115 with gray hair and brown eyes. They disappeared around 8:15 in the morning on September 11, 2009. They left their home in the 2400 block of Pacific Street in their light blue four-door 1990 Honda Civic with a Kansas license plate number AWX605 and never returned. Their vehicle has never been located. It had paint missing from the hood, and its exhaust system is loud and dangles from the undercarriage. After their disappearances, the lights were found turned on in the Blacks' home. Billy and Mary's driver's licenses were there, as well as a checkbook and some cash, and Billy's insulin was in the refrigerator. They had one son together, and by the time of their disappearances, both Billy and Mary had severe health issues. Billy was stressed from having to care for Mary and told her son it'd be better for him if his parents weren't around. Authorities and members of the Black family believe they are no longer alive. One theory is that they drove accidentally or intentionally into the Missouri River. There's little evidence available in their missing persons cases, however, and their disappearances do remain unsolved. And if you have any information regarding Billy and Mary's disappearance, you can call the Atchison County Sheriff's Office at 913-367-4323, and then we'll get the KBI number up there, 785-296-4017.
So
And
this is literally like that. There's like a rock and roll song about a couple that just vanished one day and nobody knew where they went. Like, is that kind of what this is? Like, they just weren't home one day and nobody's seen them since then. And they did because you said he left his insulin
yeah,
and like they left checkbooks and like typically if they did just pick up and move away, like they didn't, they would have had to have taken the stuff that they left,
yeah,
just for health reasons.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just, left their IDs there, checkbook, cash, insulin. I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know if it's a situation where they just up and decided to leave, or maybe they were just leaving for a short time and planned on coming back, or I don't know. Had an ulterior motive, or maybe I don't know.
September 11th, 2009. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, almost 11 years.
That's really
Yeah,
interesting. If anybody has any information about that, Billy Bob Black, Mary Lou Black, I'm sure if you're watching from the Atchison, Kansas area, I'm sure you've heard about this case. One thing that I've known, I don't know how big Atchison is, but I'm assuming it's kind of small. One thing I've learned about small town crime is that a lot of people know a lot of things that they don't say. If you find yourself being one of those people where you know something that could bring resolution and resolve to this case right here, and you don't want anybody to know your name, you don't want anybody to know it's you that knows because you fear of retaliation, or you don't want to be called a rat like a lot of people say. There's other ways. Ricky, do we have the Crime Stoppers number handy? And we can get to it later in the show if you don't have it right off that. But there is, there are ways you can call Crime Stoppers. You can report this stuff anonymously. So if you know anything, if you know something, say something for sure. And once again, this is Billy Bob Black, Mary Lou Black.
yes. Yeah, I will see if I can't come up with the Crime Stoppers number for Atchison if they have one, and get that up there too,
Yeah, we
so
can put it
people
in the
can.
description. And then, by the way, if you are watching this show right now, and this isn't really the sort of platform you would like to watch this show on, because I know that when you're watching this show on Facebook, you have to have it open and you have to, be watching this. We do have a podcast available, so if you just look on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you look for Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast, all of our episodes will be there in full. So
Right.
Ricky, you want to move on?
Yep, we sure can do that.
Okay, let's go ahead on put your next flyer up and go ahead.
Okay, Destiny Faith Veal. This is a more recent case. She's been missing since March 19th of 2020. She's 16 years old. She stands about 5 foot, 5'2", 180 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Um, that's about. I don't have much more information on her than that. So if anybody does have any information, you can sure call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247, or 785-368-9551, or 785-368-9200, or that KBI number 785-296-4017.
So you don't know much about Destiny.
I don't. I have very little information on her. I know she's missing out of Topeka here recently, but I wasn't given much more information than what I have on the flyer. I mean, I like to try to get information as far as what area of town they were last seen in, what they may have been wearing, that kind of thing. But that apparently wasn't available because I wasn't able to get that.
And this is a horror. March 19th, 2020.
Yeah,
I mean, if you just Google that date in 50 years, they'll be like, that's a horrible time to go missing.
yeah, definitely.
That was right when this is not a good time for these people, for anybody to
Right,
be where nobody knows where they are. So say any that here's another narrative, and we don't know anything. We're just sharing flyers and sharing information. Say that there's a narrative where you might know where Destiny is and she's safe and she doesn't want to go back to where she is. Anything you holding that information doesn't help resolve the situation. Whenever we have a minor missing, that is a very big deal. So if you have any information on where Destiny Faith Veal is, KBI 785-296-4017.
right. Yeah, and I have made a flyer previously for her before some time ago, so she's not really a stranger to me since I have done a flyer for her before. And I do tend to have a few of those that I've repeatedly made flyers for,
Yeah.
and it just really makes me wonder when I do repeaters, are they just, is there some kind of issue that's not coming to light that they're involved in, they're trying to get away from? Is it just a situation where they're not really comfortable with structure or rules because they may not have They may have come from a background where they didn't really have structure or rules, so it just spooks them and makes them want to run, because I have heard of that
Yeah.
before.
I mean, I never ran away, but I was running away, kind of, in a metaphorical way, until I was like until I had kids at 31. I was
Yeah.
always running away from problems. So I get, sometimes when things get real, when things get scary, you everybody has that fight or flight,
Right.
thing inside of them, and running away, it seems like a very easy thing to do, but for the most part, unless you have some kind of plan, or like, it's really not, statistically it's not going to end well. It's really hard to just go out into the world with, even if you have a little bit of money with you, it's really hard to go out into the world and just, you know start a life, basically. So it's not the way to do it. People need to know where you are. There we have police looking for you, and
Right.
family members and stuff. So yeah, it's especially right now, not a good time to run away,
No,
people.
it's
This is a
not.
very bad time.
I'm actually surprised at the number of flyers I've made in the last several days. As far as runaways go, I'm really surprised by it. I was just like, I would have thought that would have slowed way down, but it hasn't.
Yeah. Well, it all kind of depends on too, as how serious the generations the different generations are taking, stuff like this, it's there. I think there's a mixture of it's a mixed bag. I think there's a little bit of everybody from different generations that aren't taking it quite serious enough.
Right.
Um, so, but
Yeah.
that neither here nor there. And like we said earlier, if you want to say something, but you don't want anybody to know who you are, this is the Atchison, Kansas Crime Stoppers number.
And that goes back to the Blacks case we just covered first. Yeah.
Yeah, let's throw this back up there.
Yeah.
If you know something about Billy Bob Black and Mary Lou Black missing since September 11th, 2009, you can call that number right there. 100% anonymous.
Yes.
They don't have to know anything about you. Call them, let them know, and let people that do this for a living try to figure out something. So that's 913-367-8477. And that is the Atchison, Kansas Crime Stoppers.
I'll have to make sure in future shows that I get these Crime Stoppers numbers ahead of time so we can include
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, because those are important. I
Yeah.
think for the most part, most people. I know that if I knew something about, something that was like potentially like a criminal investigation, like I see myself doing it anonymously. You just don't want
Right.
to throw your name in the mix.
Right. Yeah, I have talked to a few people over the last 8 years that aren't really too concerned with being anonymous, but a lot of people do want to remain anonymous because they're worried about, being labeled a snitch, or they're worried about, somebody coming back and trying to, get back at them for saying something and that kind of thing. So, you know, and that's
Yeah,
another reason on my flyers you'll never see family contact information, as I try to protect the families from crank calls, cruel calls, hoax calls. There's been an increase in the number of cases where, when family information's out there, people will call them and say, "Hey, for X amount of money, I'll tell you where your loved one is."
yeah. Well,
How
let
to
me ask you
sort
this.
them.
And again, you don't have to die on this hill, politically or anything. But what do you think about? Because to me, I feel like there's a little bit of a predatory essence whenever you have, especially back in the day, but it still happens like rampant now. Whenever you have a missing case where we don't have any idea where this person's body, or if they're alive, dead, whatever, we have no idea where they are located.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
I didn't quite get where you were going with that,
I don't think I did either.
but yeah, it's just hopefully somebody's got some information that'll help get some of
Oh,
these.
no, no, no. I know where I was going. So you have these psychics that come in,
Oh, there you
and
go.
they're like, "Hey, for $500, I can use my supernatural ability to help you locate your missing loved one." And sometimes they can find people,
Yeah. I
But
have
I
a
mean,
first
do you feel like
friend.
that's kind of predatory? That, like, charging a family to help them to find justice?
I think so. I think there's people out there, nobody that I'm personally associated with, everybody that I'm associated with is pretty much like me, but there are people out there that that do things similar to what I do for a monetary gain, and I don't believe in doing that. I don't believe in trying to make money off other people's hardships.
Yeah.
That's why, I've had people actually ask me if I charge to make flyers. I tell them no, I don't. And I've had people offer to pay me just because I have done them, and I'm like, no, I don't want money. It's not why I'm
No.
doing it.
No. That's
I'm doing
kind
it
of. It
because
feels a
it's
little
something that
bit.
needs to be done.
Feels a little bit. You want to move on to slide 3, buddy?
Sure.
Let's go into it.
And this one's Gail Boomer Hurdy. I just recently learned of the Hurdy name. I was always familiar with her as Boomer. She went missing from Kansas City, Kansas, back on February 23rd, 1999. So we're going back a little ways here. She was 39 when she went missing. She would be 60 now. She's about 5'4", 5'5", weighs 140 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She visited Uncle Mike's, now called Nobody's Business in Kansas City, Kansas, near her own residence on February 23rd, 1999. She went there with her roommate, Carolyn Marshall. Marshall stated that while they were in the bar, a male stranger walked up to Boomer and threw her off the bar stool for no apparent reason without speaking to her. Star got up and insisted she was all right, and her attacker was forced to leave the establishment. Marshall left after finishing her drink. She asked the bartender to keep an eye on Star, whom she planned to pick up later. When Marshall called the bar later that day, she was told Boomer had already left with two men and she's never been heard from again. Witnesses at the establishment told authorities that she was involved in an altercation with another patron during the evening. Individuals believed to be a career criminal with a history of violent behavior towards women. He allegedly knocked her to the ground and beat her, causing her to lose consciousness. She's never been heard from again. Authorities believe she may have been murdered in the bar and her body hidden in another location. In October of '99, two local men, William Eugene Gino Spradlin and Robert Franklin Butch Horn, were charged with second-degree murder in Boomer's case. Both suspects have extensive criminal histories and have served time in prison. Their murder charges were later dismissed because over a dozen witnesses to the alleged crime refused to testify against the defendants. Her case remains unsolved. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance due to the circumstances involved in the case. And I can also add that she has a couple of tattoos. She has a tattoo of a rose on her chest. She had a tattoo of a bear on her outer right ankle, partial with a wire. Clothing that she was said to have been wearing that night with her blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. No information as far as the top. She was wearing tennis shoes, and she was also carrying a purse that had about approximately $80 in it. And according to Namus, there was no transportation information available either. So,
So this is basically one of those cases where somebody that's not a great person has a lot of arrows pointing at him, but nobody has nobody has. I don't want to say the guts. Nobody has the gumption to put them in jail by testifying against them because I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but testifying against dangerous people is not the funnest thing in the world to do,
right.
especially when you're dealing with the fact that maybe they had removed somebody from this planet, and that's what you know about. So you know that they're not messing around. So to me, that's a really frustrating place to be in. Like I deal with that with some of the murders from my hometown. A lot of people know exactly what happened, how it happened, where it happened, but because of fear of retaliation, they just choose not to talk, and I understand it, but it doesn't bring closure to these families. This is February 23rd of 1999. She was 39 years old. That is young. If she's alive, she would be
Mm,
60 years old. That's sad. You know,
right.
that's a long time to not be to have friends and family and everybody that you had built a life of for 39 years to
Right.
just have that vanish, and then look on the other side where everybody that haven't got to see her since February 23rd, 1999. So it's a big deal.
Yeah. And if you do have any information regarding her case, don't hesitate, but call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-573-6010 or 913-596-3000. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can call the Greater Area Kansas City, Kansas Crime Stoppers at 816-474-8477. Or you can call KBI at 785-296-4017. So again, I wanted to get that Crime Stoppers number in there so we make sure if you want to report anything anonymously, you have that ability to do that through Crime Stoppers.
Leave that out there for a few more seconds because it's important. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is. I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna be researching for the next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe the audience doesn't know this, but a lot of times I learn about these cases along with them.
Right.
Ricky does the Ricky does the bulk of the. I produce the show. I push all the buttons, but everything that you see and all the information that we have is from Ricky, working tirelessly,
Hmm.
while also working a job and raising two daughters. So,
Yeah.
hats off to you, buddy. You're doing
Thank
God's
you.
work for sure.
I'm definitely hearing about. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what day it was. Later on this month will be Kansas Missing and Unsolved's 8-year anniversary.
Wow, we should do a big stream for it. Maybe have some of your helpers come on.
Yeah.
Have you guys just talk about how the page got started, some of the stuff you guys go through.
Yeah. I'll have to see who I can round up for that.
That
That'd
would
be
be
fun.
really fun, man.
Be fun to do.
I mean, because you guys have done a great thing. 60,000 followers. Your posts are being shared hundreds of times a day.
Yeah.
You're doing good stuff.
Yeah. I did one this this afternoon for a girl that was. I can't remember where she was. Oh, Wichita. Missing out of Wichita, and I got the flyer done and I got it posted. And probably 10 minutes after I posted it, I got a message that she had just literally walked in the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, that's good. So I got her flyer updated to locate it safe and clear it off of there. So it was good that she was found. She'd been missing for a few days. So
That's
I'm
not
glad
that.
she was found.
Yeah, it's always good to have happy endings to these stories.
Yeah, definitely is.
So, you mentioned to me before the show that case 4 has a lot to do with case 2.
Yes, Jeremy Samuel Veal. I was just recently informed that he is actually Destiny Veal's brother, and he's actually been missing since November 5th of last year. He was 14 years old. He's 5'8", 140, dark brown hair, brown eyes. Apparently, he's had no contact with anybody since he's been missing. I don't have much else available on him as well. I've been trying to find out more, but I haven't been able to just yet. I'm working on it. And if anybody has information regarding Jeremy's disappearance or where he may be, call the Linden, Kansas Police Department at 785-828-3147. Or you can call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-843-5678. Or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017.
Is this the first flyer you've made for Jeremy? Because you said you had made a couple for his sister.
I think I've made a couple for him now. I know I've at least updated pictures on his. I don't know if I've made a separate one or not, but I know I've updated pictures on his a couple of times. Most specifically, the one on the far right was a more recent one that was sent to me.
Debbie Carell says you've helped us find 3 of our fosters. That's really great service. Thank you.
You're welcome. And actually, I did it. This would be the second flyer. I made one for him back in September of last year as well. So this would be the
Okay.
second one for him as
Well, the
well.
reason I ask, and this isn't to unlegitimize this flyer, but typically when I hear that you've made a couple
Hmm.
flyers for a teen, it makes me feel like that at least they're probably safe.
Right.
Yes, they're still missing. Yes, we need to know where they are. But if usually when I hear of like a runaway situation, where it could be a potential runaway situation, it's like you kind of it's you know they might not be safe in the sense that no teenager is safe in the world by themselves generally, but they're safe in the sense that like it probably wasn't foul play. They probably made themselves disappear, and that it makes me a little less sad about looking at these pictures and thinking that there's been like a horrible amount of foul play and that we're looking for like a body instead of a person, and
Right.
so when I hear you make multiple flyers, it makes me a little bit happier to know that more than
Yeah.
likely we're looking for a person that's a little lost right now, probably.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there have been some sad outcomes over the years for some of these teenagers. I can't
Yeah.
remember the young lady's name, but I did one that had been missing for some time. believe it was Topeka. And I just happened to be browsing news sites one afternoon and ran across a site where it said something about runaway teen uh, killed in Topeka, and I got to reading the story. And when they identified the person, it was somebody I had made a flyer for and had up for some time. But apparently, the person was shot, dumped out of a vehicle, and left in the middle of the street.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sad.
One of our comments there asking, Alex Aldape is asking, have you ever looked into the June Biddleman case in Dodge City in 1985 unsolved murder?
I have not. I'll have to look that one up. What was that name again?
Let me put it on the screen for you. June
June
Biddleman.
Biddleman. I don't know if I have. I will have to dig into that. I don't know if I have or not. I'm trying to think if that name rings a bell or not. June Biddleman. I will look into that and see. Thank you for bringing
Yeah, we
that
can
to our
cover that
attention.
next
I
week.
appreciate that. Appreciate that. I'll see what I can come up with between now and Tuesday's show.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Chase is wondering if the two teens we featured tonight are their families like together. Are they missing from the same core family, or were they in different households?
I'm assuming different households since Destiny was missing from Topeka and Jeremy was missing from Linden. I'm not sure what the distance between the two are, but I'm assuming possibly different foster homes, I'm guessing, but I don't know for
Okay.
sure. That would be my guess. But I'm going to do my famous map search here real quick and I'll find out just how far they are. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of impossibility that they could be together. I've had that happen before where siblings have ran off from one location to another location and were believed to be together.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's only a 35-minute drive from Linden to Topeka, so I guess it would be possible if they might be together if they've been in contact in any way, in
Yeah.
any kind
Hey,
of way.
so I'm getting a little bit of audio issues from you.
How are
Can
you?
you, for those of you watching right now, this is just a technical difficulty. Give us a second to bear with it. Ricky, click on the cam mic button.
And if I can find it, I will. There it is.
It's on
Okay.
the bottom there.
There it is. Okay, yeah.
Click on camera.
Okay.
Click on camera resolution and go down to the lowest one.
Here we go.
And then click on audio
Okay.
and click disable audio processing.
Okay.
A lot better.
Okay. I have to remember that next time. Or will it auto
Well, it
save
should
that?
sit now.
It should save it now.
I'm actually hearing myself a little bit for some reason though.
That's weird. Sorry about these technical difficulties. I don't know if it's due to traffic on the internet or not.
I
I
don't know.
don't.
So basically,
I paid my bill.
no, it's not you. Right now, even when I go to do a show, the program that I use tells me right off the bat. They're like, look, right now, due to COVID-19, everybody in the world is on the internet at the exact same time, gaming, watching Netflix, playing on their phones. Everybody's online on the internet. So they said there's going to be some sticky situations when it comes to audio stuff. So I have it figured out. Where we will be okay. Ricky, did I like usually when we do the episodes, we kind of talk about some cases that we kind of liked or not liked, don't like cases, but some cases that stuck out to us. Are there any that you've been following on your own that are local to home that you've been following recently?
Okay, there you go. You had me muted there for a minute.
Yeah,
um,
if I talk, I can hear myself, but now you're good.
okay. Um, I haven't really been able to follow too much recently as far as missing persons cases go. With working and everything, I'm trying to. I'm still trying to keep up with like Gannon Stouch's case up there in Colorado, and trying to keep up with that, and try to keep up with the Delphi case up there in Indiana when I can keep up with that one. I haven't really seen too much new on that one. Are you familiar with that case?
No, here, let me try something real quick. Hello.
Does that sound better?
No, I haven't. Tell me about it.
That case was two young girls. I can't remember their name. Let's see, Abby German and no, I'm trying to remember their names here. They were at a park in Indiana, and they were on this really high bridge, and they were just up there, taking random video with their phones and whatnot, and apparently at some point they were approached by a male, and they didn't return home, and a couple days went by, and then their bodies were discovered, and I'm trying to think. I want to get their names right. Let's see. It was Abby Williams and Liberty German. There we go. And come to find out that when they went through one of the girls' phones, she had the presence of mind when this guy started approaching them to actually video him a little bit and got some audio of him. And the video shows him walking on this bridge toward them. And the little snippet of audio that the police up there released, you can hear him saying down the hill. I don't know if he was directing them to go down the hill or what, but they've made composites based on video and things like that, but they've never been able to pin down who it was. They've had several people pop up on radar as far as persons of interest go, but they've never been able to definitively link them to their murders. But I've been trying to see if there's anything new developing there, and so far it's been pretty quiet. And there was another Indiana case that I was following, Lauren Spear. She had went missing from, I can't remember what part of Indiana it was. She was going to college in Indiana, and she went missing, and she'd been partying the night before she went missing, and she was pretty intoxicated, and she had a heart condition and stuff, and there was persons of interest developed in her case, but I haven't heard anything new on her case for quite some time. It's been several years. Yeah. But those are some of the more recent ones I've been keeping track on.
I just found this Dodge City Police Department release from March 23rd, 2019, from that case Alex was talking about. It says 34 years ago today, on March 23rd, 1985, Dodge City resident June Biddleman was found murdered at the Welcome Inn located at 1610 West Wyatt Boulevard. June was working as a motel clerk on the overnight shift when she was brutally attacked and murdered. She was found the next morning by a coworker who arrived at work to relieve her. She was 58 years old at the time of her death, and she was the mother of four grown children. She was remembered as a generous woman who often loaned money to people in need. She loved dogs and she loved dogs and was going to continue breeding them after she left her job at the hotel. While the police department has never closed this case, a phone call 6 years ago from one of June's sons resulted in us taking a fresh look at this case. In June 2013, Lieutenant Colleen Brooks Francis received a phone call from James Coover, who was inquiring about the status of his mother's case. It was at that time Lieutenant Brooks Francis began reinvestigating this cold case. During the last 6 years, many leads have been thoroughly pursued, and foreign evidence has been resubmitted to both the KBI lab and the FBI lab for examination. We believe there still may be people in our community who have information on this case, and we would love to talk to them. It is important to note that sometimes a person can have information that they don't realize is important. We want to ask local residents to think back to this time in 1985 and see if they remember anything that might be related to this case. Anyone with information is asked to contact Lieutenant Brooks Francis at 620-225-8126, extension 1218, or email her at colleenf@dodgecity.org. And you can also text them anonymously by their tip line by texting to tip 411 on the app. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, hey Ricky, one more time. Go back and turn your audio. Click your cam mic button again,
Okay.
and then click audio,
Oops,
and
hit the
then
wrong thing. Kill mic. There we go. And hit audio again.
yeah, and then click
Oh,
that button that I told you to click.
the which one?
The enable audio
Oh,
processing.
okay. I just clicked it.
Test, test, test. We're good. I fixed
Okay.
it.
Okay. Good. Okay. I'll have to. I was just looking on my jump drive to see if I had anything for her, and actually, oh, there's a picture. I've never been able to find a picture of her.
This is
That's
on the Dodge City Police Department's Facebook page.
okay. I will look that up, and I will get a new flyer made because I'd made a small one way back when I first started the page. that uses just a silhouette of a no photo available because I could not find one back then.
I'll send this
So
one to you.
cool, thank you.
Yeah, there's another one. Joe Rainey, Ricky, has there been any updates on the Chapman Montoy murders in Concordia in 1980?
I have not heard any updates on that one. I'm trying to remember the details on that. I believe it was I think they were a teenage couple that were murdered up there. I do believe, if I'm thinking of the right one. But I haven't heard any recent updates on their case at all. That one, I think is, yeah. I think we'll have to feature that one on an upcoming show to see if we can't get some people talking and some information generated. Hopefully on that one.
Katie
'Cause,
Wing says we have a special response team in each contractor, two per contractor, four contractors. They're tasked with focusing on the missing youth in foster care. That's a big problem.
yeah, unfortunately it is. Definitely. I like I said, I do a large number of runaways, and I've actually gotten some comments from people that are not too happy that I do that sometimes, and I'm sorry they feel that way. But I mean, I feel they need to be found and brought back to hopefully a safe location. I realize we're short of foster families, and I've seen the articles that are out there about kids sleeping in offices and things like that because there's just nowhere else to place them and things like that. And I mean, it's a sad deal. I mean, if I was, you know, younger and in a better place, I would probably more than likely be a foster parent still, as I was at one time, about 14 years ago.
Let me see. I have one more that I'm just going to throw in there, and hopefully it fits. It probably won't, but we'll see what we can get out of there. And I can.
Okay. It's a pretty lengthy one.
No, it's just that it's kind of a. I don't know if it'll fit on the program that I'm uploading it to. We'll find out.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's a girl named Rachel Pratt missing from Garden City,
Oh
Kansas.
yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
So that's weird. That didn't work. I'll figure it out.
Mhm.
So what do you know about that case?
Without looking, I don't recall.
This flyer says Rachel Pratt missing since January 16th, 1995 from Garden City, Kansas. What I read into the case, apparently her family was pretty adamant that it was a runaway. There was the day the police went to that house that she was supposedly ran away. They found a mattress in the basement that was burned, and they didn't know what that was about, but they've never seen her since then. Um, Family's pretty adamant it was a runaway. Says she
Yeah,
was 15 years old when she disappeared. If you have any information, contact Garden City Police 620-276-1300, or you can
yeah,
call Crime Stoppers again 620-275-7808.
yeah. Apparently, 5 days after she went missing, some girls claimed to have seen her talking on the payphone with her 18-year-old boyfriend. They say she left the phone with her boyfriend after asking the girls for a ride, then went into Dylan's grocery store. The sighting's not been confirmed, and her boyfriend denies having been with her after she vanished. She was supposed to be a witness against her boyfriend, who was being prosecuted for unlawful sexual relations with her because she disappeared before she could testify. The charges were dropped. They started dating when Rachel was 14 and a freshman in high school, and he was a senior. He was her first boyfriend. Rachel's mother found out she was pregnant after Rachel was arrested for attempting to shoplift a home pregnancy test from Walmart. She gave her statement to the police at the time. There's no evidence to indicate that Rachel ever gave birth. There's also no record of her ever receiving a driver's license, a copy of her birth certificate, or her social security card. She may have remained in the Kansas City area after her disappearance. There have been no sightings of her at all in many years, but authorities remain hopeful she's still out there. Rachel has 7 siblings. Her mother still lives at the same address and has kept the same phone number. And then, as you were saying, the Garden City Police Department's number 620-276-1300.
Yeah, I see. You know a lot more about that case than I ever did.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know any of those details. So
yeah.
basically, what you're saying is, well, so you say she was going to testify against her boyfriend. for what I'm guessing would be statutory rape charges. Because since he was like older, 18 or probably because he was a senior and she was a freshman. Um, so, but I mean, if it were they like, you know, if they were like dating at the time, were they like hostile towards each other or?
That I don't know. It just said she was set to testify against him for the unlawful sexual relations since she was underage, but it didn't say whether they were still like seeing each other behind everybody's back or whether that they were at odds or that information I've never seen. That would be
Wow.
nice to know because that may help fill in a blank or two if we know whether they were still,
Yeah, I mean, because it
secretly
says
seeing each other or whether they were on the outs.
you have a 15-year-old girl that's supposed to testify against her boyfriend. You got to wonder if she wanted to testify against her boyfriend or if she was being told to testify against her boyfriend because, in fact, a crime was committed.
Right.
But then you have that whole argument, like especially in 1995, like I don't know, I was in high school from like 98 to 2001, 2000, and it was not uncommon for a senior 18-year-old boy to date a freshman in high school. You know, like that wasn't uncommon.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know. Sounds like I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things with that. You know, Garden City Police Department 620-276-1300 or Crime Stopper 620-275-7808.
Maybe we can go further in depth with her.
Yeah, we should
her
write that down too. We'll talk. We'll do
Yeah.
like an actual.
Yeah. And see if I can find any other information or, if somebody wants to message me more information, that's fine too. Or, want
You should reshare a flyer. That would get a lot of. That would
yeah,
generate a lot of talk in Garden City. I know.
yeah, we'll do that. We'll see if I have to update the age now on it though, because I have to see what her date of birth is and see if I need to update it because the last time I updated it, I have her age now is 39, and I'm not sure if that's still correct or not. I will have to look and see
She
on that.
was 30. She would be 34 in 2014. This says
Okay, okay. So,
so 40.
okay, so I will have to update that one.
Brown
Definitely.
eyes, brown hair.
Yeah.
Really pretty girl. And I'm really good. The girl who posted this, Tessa Romero Blood, I'm really good friends with her, and she's the one that started this page, searching for Rachel Pratt. You can find it on Facebook if anybody wants to.
Sure, and we'd
If
be
you
even
have any information about
we'd
that,
be
for
even
sure.
glad to have her on the show as a guest if she wants to come on.
I'll send her a message. She might.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, and I'm glad I brought it up tonight. I was like, man, I should bring up Rachel because I've been hearing about her since like 2010.
Yeah.
People have been talking about it in the Garden City scene.
And Rachel will actually be 41 May 8th of this year.
Wow.
May 8th of this year, she'll be 41. Yep.
About time to figure out what happened there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, boss. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, did we want to go back through and cover
Oh yeah, we got
the
to do that. I
titles
forgot about
on
that.
each one of them, or
Let's
what
go
we
through one by one. Let's go with slide number 1. Here we go.
okay. Again, Billy Bob Black and Mary Lou Black. Billy Bob Black. They went missing September 11, 2009. He was 74 when they went missing. He would be 84 now. He was 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes, and Mary Lou. She was 72 when they went missing, 83 now, height 5'1", weighed 115 pounds, gray hair, brown eyes. Again, when after their disappearance, the lights at the house are turned on. They left their IDs as well as their checkbook and some cash behind, and Billy's insulin was still in the refrigerator. It's unknown if they left with the intent of coming home or if they had other thoughts in mind when they left. Nobody knows. Authorities and members of their family also believe that they're no longer alive. And one theory is that they drove either accidentally or intentionally into the Missouri River. If anybody has any information regarding their disappearance or know of their whereabouts, you can call the Atchison County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 913-367-4323. Or if you want to do it anonymously, you can call the Atchison, Kansas Crime Stoppers number 913-367-8477 or KBI at 785-296-4017. You have any information, no matter how small, please call it in.
Let me get those numbers on the screen for you.
Okay. There's
And I wanted to ask you on this one. So you had mentioned that one of Billy or Mary Lou had made a comment about things would be better if they weren't living anymore, something like that. What was that comment about?
Apparently, according to the information that I had gotten, it basically stated that Billy was stressed from having to take care of Mary and told her son that it would be better for him if his parents were no longer around. So it sounded like maybe Billy was suffering from not only stress but maybe some depression as well.
And the whole Missouri River story, is that like, I don't know Atchison at all. Is that like a pretty intense river that if somebody did drive into it, the car would float far away before it settled?
I believe the Missouri River is a pretty good sized river.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm sure the current would probably, let's see what kind of a car. Honda Civic was a smaller car, so I'm sure if it had a good current, it could probably pull that car a little ways down the river. I don't know. I haven't seen any information stating whether or not the river has actually been searched or not, but
Yeah.
hopefully if they haven't, I hope they will,
Yeah.
because that could bring some closure to the case if they can look in the river and maybe run across it or something. I've seen some cases recently that were actually solved. They were missing persons cases by people looking at Google Earth images over bodies of water and seeing the tops of vehicles in some of these bodies of water, and they go in and pull the vehicle out, and sure enough, it's related to a missing persons case, and the person they were looking for is still inside the vehicle.
Technology just gets better and better every day. Like there,
Yeah,
and that's a good sign for a lot of these cold cases because
yeah.
they can't run. And you know what's crazy is a lot of these cold cases, like there's DNA sitting in evidence rooms all over the country that's never been tested because there's no funding for it. But the day that they test it and the criminal is on the grid, that's a
Hmm.
bad day for them.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. And then we want to go ahead and move on to Destiny. Destiny Faith Veal, 16 years old. She went missing March 19th, 2020. She's between 5 foot, 5'2", weighs about 180 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She went missing from Topeka, Kansas on March 19th, 2020. And if you have any information regarding her disappearance or if you know of her whereabouts, you can call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And hopefully she's out there safe somewhere.
Yeah,
Just gonna find her and get her
and
book.
it wouldn't be the if somebody that's watching this knows where she is, it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. And this show's only 5 weeks old.
Right.
We've had people message us after shows. Uh, we had one person message Ricky to tell him that he was safe. It was somebody that was missing,
Yeah.
and we've had people write in saying that they know where the person is and they're safe, and that's a step in the right direction. We still would like to bring them home, but just finding out that these people are alive and well and safe is a blessing in itself. We'll move on to the next case.
I'm actually being corrected here on Destiny's case. She's actually a Shawnee County, Kansas case, not a uh, Topeka, Kansas case.
Where is Shawnee County?
That's where Topeka is located, is
Oh, it's
Shawnee.
just not. So it's not like an actual city of Topeka case. It's just in the county.
Yeah, that I was under the assumption it was Topeka because when I looked on KBI, I believe it said on KBI's website the reporting law enforcement agency was Topeka PD. Let me double check on that real quick here. If that's the case, I'm going to have to correct that. I mean, I have her missing from Shawnee County, but it does say reporting agency Topeka Police Department. But I will go ahead and get the Shawnee County Sheriff's Department number here real quick. Let me do that. Then their phone number is 785-251-2200. That is the Shawnee County, Kansas Sheriff's Office. Oh, okay.
Let me put
I
that on
will
the
have to make
screen.
that.
Just
I'll have to make that correction to the flyer and repost that. I apologize for that because, like I said, the KBI website does state that it is a. It was reported by the Topeka, Kansas Police Department, so KBI will need to correct that as well. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that.
yeah. And that's not the first time we've had the wrong information on a flyer either. We're
Right.
doing this the best we can.
Yeah.
We'll go on. We'll move on to the Boomer case.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to stars. Yeah. As I said, yeah, like you were saying, the information, sometimes gets passed along incorrectly, and I just want to thank the person again for pointing that out that it was incorrect information. That'll give me an opportunity to make that correction and repost the flyer with the correct law enforcement information on there. So I do appreciate that. Okay, on to Gail. She went missing from Kansas City, Kansas, February 23rd, 1999. She was 39 when she went missing. She would be 60 now. She was 5'4", 5'5", 140 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. She went to a bar called Uncle Mike's, now called Nobody's Business, in Kansas City, Kansas, on February 23rd, 1999. Went there with her roommate, and while they were in the bar, a male stranger walked up to her and threw her off the bar stool for no reason without speaking to her. Star got up and insisted she was okay, and her attacker was forced to leave. Her roommate left after finishing her drink. She asked the bartender to keep an eye on Star, whom she planned to pick up later. When her roommate called the bar later that day, she was told that Star had left with two men. She's never been heard from again. Witnesses also said that she was involved in an altercation with another patron during the evening. This individual is believed to be a career criminal with a history of violent behavior towards women. He allegedly knocked her to the ground and beat her, causing her to lose consciousness. She's never been heard from again. It's believed that she was murdered in the bar and her body hidden in another location. Two men were charged with second-degree murder in her case, but both have extensive criminal histories and served time in prison. Charges were dropped against them because over a dozen witnesses to the alleged crime refused to testify against them. Her case remains unsolved, and foul play is suspected in her disappearance due to the circumstances. If you have any information regarding her disappearance, or if you know of her whereabouts, you can call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-573-6010 or 913-596-3000, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, or the Greater Kansas City Area Crime Stoppers numbers 816-474-8477. If you want to report anything anonymously, you can call that number.
I gotta get that number on the screen. It's giving me trouble. 1 second.
Okay.
Producer problems. All right, here we go. I want to
Okay.
get that number on the screen for you. This
Yep.
is the Crime Stoppers one. This is if you know
Yeah.
something and you don't want anybody to know you know something. This is the one you call.
Yeah. You see it all the time, ran as 816-474-TIPS, but I choose to do away with the tips part and just put the numbers because I
It's
think it makes
easier.
it easier. Yeah.
Yeah,
That way you
gets
don't
the
have to sit
point
there and
across.
keep going, okay, here's the 8, here's the 4. Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they were able to get 816-474 tips. That's a easy one to remember. But yeah, I'd prefer to put the actual numbers in. And also, if you don't care who knows what you know, you can always call the good old KBI,
Yeah.
and they're all ears.
Oh, yes. Most definitely. Yep.
I feel like I'm going to I said it earlier. I'm going to study this case a lot this week. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, it's one of those cases where it seems like everybody knows what happened, but there's nothing you can really do about it because nobody wants to talk. But
If you go to charlieproject.org, they're a great source of information on this, on a lot of cases. That's where I got a lot of what I have on her flyers from them. And they even have a picture of one of the gentlemen on her profile on there.
wow,
Yep. So then we want to cover Mr. Jeremy now. Yep, Jeremy Veal, who again, as I mentioned earlier, was brought to my attention recently that that is indeed Destiny's brother. although he's been missing a lot longer, since November 5th of last year. I mean, he's 14 years old, 5'8", 140 pounds, dark brown hair, brown eyes. Uh, Again, he went missing from Linden, Kansas, and he's had no contact with anybody since he went missing. If you have any information regarding his disappearance, or if you know of his whereabouts, you can call the Linden, Kansas Police Department, 785-828-3147, or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-843-5678, or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And as mentioned earlier, both Jeremy and Destiny, I think this is my second flyer on each of those two. I know two on hers and two on his.
So
So,
if you're watching this, you know where either of those two are. Call the KBI.
yeah. And it is unknown whether they're together or not. That information we don't know. I mean, Linden and Topeka are only about 35 minutes apart. So, I mean, it's, I guess, not beyond the realm of possibility that they're together. So,
Yeah.
just not known for sure or not.
We can get to some of these comments.
Okay.
Michael Anderson says, Ricky, my ex-wife called me crying a couple days ago saying they closed the missing person case on my son, Zachary Anderson, and turning it over to some suspect foul play or deceased case. Have you heard anything?
Michael, that I have not heard. That'd be a first I've heard of that. They were going to close the missing persons case and move it to more of a homicide case, or is that my understanding?
Yeah, I guess he said that they were going to basically make it like a foul play case. Or, yeah, foul play.
Okay, for deceased case. No, I haven't heard that. That's interesting. Now, if you can find out for me if they've assigned it a different case number, I'd like to update that on his flyer if they've done that. That would be, I'd like to find that out.
Yeah, we'll write that down. Stacy says, this is a wonderful idea. I work in a foster care in Kansas and showing pictures of runaways. Please post. Well, come talk to us sometime on the show. We'd love to have you.
And actually, I was contacted by someone that actually is in a foster care office that sends me lists of their missing to do flyers for, and was asked if I would feature some of theirs on here too, and I told them I would be glad to do that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that at all. Whatever helps get them brought home. Especially right now with everything going on with this COVID and everything, they don't need to be taking any unnecessary risks.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you're still with us here, best of luck to you in this whole thing going on in this crazy world. And I like what Ricky's been posting a lot on Facebook is to focus on the people that have been cured.
Yeah.
I don't think you're turning your head away to the lots of deaths that are
No.
happening, but I think you're
No.
choosing to focus on the positive.
Yeah.
And another thing that I was talking to my wife about today, I was like, New York City has like 100,000 cases or something,
Mm-hmm.
but they have like 7 million people there. It's
Right.
like more people don't have coronavirus in New York City than people that do. I'm not saying it's not gonna change to where everybody has it. I don't know. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. But what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
like Ricky's saying, be safe, be cautious, wash
Mm-hmm.
your hands, practice social distancing,
Right.
and be safe. But at the same time, like live your life and be happy, and don't live in fear. Whatever
Right.
happens, happens, and just have a happy life.
I'll admit when I go to work, my anxiety runs a little bit high, and I try to keep it in check, and I always try to, say a little prayer. So God, help me get, help me deal with my anxiety, help me lower it, so I can function throughout the day and stuff. And it's hard some days. It really is, because you just never know. You don't know who's going to walk in the door that may be a carrier that don't know that they're a carrier, or may be infected with it. You just don't know.
I just sent you a private message. If you can link me that, it's a chat from somebody was wondering if there's an email for the
Oh, sure,
page.
sure.
If you want to type that in there, I'll copy it. Yeah. Well, we officially made it to an hour long episode, and I feel like we didn't get bored.
No, not at all.
Well, we had
Not
a
at all.
discussion before we came live. Like, I think when you're dealing with this type of stuff, you want to be very respectful, first of all,
Yeah.
Like you want to be very respectful of what's going on, what's being said. But, I think we were being a little too frigid. We were kind of just like reading the cases and
Yeah.
then moving on, and I think it's more important to
Right.
there's Ricky's email to get a hold of him.
Yep.
Shoot him a message. But I think it's important, man.
I really haven't put my email out there too much, but I'm starting to do it more because I think it's easier in some instances to be able to get information to me rather than try to message it through Facebook or Messenger or comment or whatever. It's a lot easier just to email it.
Yeah, it
I
is.
just have to remember to check it more,
So yeah, there's a
which I'm getting better at. I will admit I'm getting better.
feel
My phone
lucky.
goes
Ricky
off
doesn't
all the
share
time.
his email, but he's giving it to all of you lovely people watching this show right now.
Mhm.
Stacy says social workers are struggling right now. Our children struggle. Our parents being called out all hours of the night. We still do our job. We rock. Agreed.
And I agree too, Stacy.
Huge shout out to the healthcare professionals.
Yeah, definitely. You're out there risking it every day, just like I am. Even more so than I am, actually. You guys have a lot harder job than I do. I just work at a home improvement store.
Yeah,
So,
God love it. And we interviewed somebody last night
what
who
was that comment that you just put up?
I'll put it up. I was going to tell you this real quick. We interviewed this girl last night, and she's a CNA for a hospital. She obviously didn't release which hospital or what state she works in,
Right.
but she says that every week she's handed a face mask and a brown paper bag, and she has to use the face mask to go into somebody's room who might be, they don't know what's going on, they're sick, and
Hmm.
then after that she has to put the face mask in a brown paper bag and then put it on on like the desk at the nurse's station. And when they have to go back into another room that has somebody else, a different person infected, they go into this dirty, disease-filled bag and put the same face mask on for an entire week. That's what's going on right now in our hospitals, and it's not even
Wow.
because they're out of protective gear. They're rationing right now because they don't know what the surge is going to be like if this thing
Right.
gets crazy. So like that's yeah, big hats off. Like these healthcare workers are they're going right into the front lines of battle every day, and God love them.
Yeah. I was reading one that was just the opposite kind of a situation the other day where it was I don't remember where it was at, but it was a nurse in the hospital saying that they were not allowed to wear masks when they were walking the halls of the hospital. It was fine to wear them in the rooms of the patients or whatever, but they couldn't wear them out in the hallways. And I thought that was
That's
kind of interesting.
I'm no doctor, but that doesn't sound smart. I would be like, you should wear one the whole time you're around sick people.
Yeah.
This was that comment. It was Michael Anderson, Ricky. I will send you the email from the detective. So,
Okay, Michael, I appreciate that.
and let me put your email back up there just
You're
one more
welcome.
time, just in case you
Yeah.
didn't catch it.
If
And
I if I would have been thinking before I did this email address when I brought one of my helpers on, when we were talking in Messenger privately about Kansas Missing and Unsolved, we shortened it to KMU. And if I would have been thinking when I set up the email before I brought her on, I would have thought about that and made it just KMU at yahoo.com, but I didn't think about it
I
until I
kind of
brought
like
her
it,
on, and
man. It's
she
big,
actually
but
coined that, the KMU. So
it's big, man, but it's easy to remember. Kansas
yeah,
Missing and Unsolved at yahoo.com.
yeah,
And that's one way to get a hold of Ricky. But if you message the Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook page, Ricky will get back to you.
oh yeah,
I have access to that, and I see people messaging him all day long, and he always gets back to people.
hmm.
So Lily says she has a couple of truckers in her family. They're running up against several obstacles too. Yeah, God love the
Yeah.
truckers too.
Oh yeah, I've heard several stories on truckers as far as not being allowed to use shower rooms in the truck stops, not being able to stop at
Hmm.
the rest areas, and God love those guys, those men and women too, because I mean they're what keeps getting these supplies where they need to be getting to.
Yeah, people don't realize how many people in the Midwest are super essential. The Midwest produces
Mhm.
a lot of stuff for the rest of the country.
Right? Yeah,
So
they're who brings the supplies to the grocery stores, the home improvement stores, the hospitals, the everywhere. They make sure it gets through.
Alex Aldape says he's going to message you some of the info he has about June. Yeah, just send it to the Kansas Missing and Unsolved page.
Yeah,
He'll
please.
get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
And that's we are closing the show out. We've been here for an hour, but we we cover like 4 to 5 cases a week that Ricky plans, and he that's what we're definitely going to cover. But we aren't afraid to sit here and like sort of rap about what people want to talk about in the comments.
Right.
Ricky's kind of a dictionary when it comes to Kansas missing and unsolved cases.
I try.
He's if it happened in Kansas in the last 8 years, he probably made a flyer for it, and he probably knows a little bit about it. So
Yeah.
like it's we're down to talk about cases that you throw out at us, and then if they're super interesting and juicy, then we'll definitely bring them back next week or a week later and go in depth with them and stuff. And I think that that could be very paramount in helping getting the word out on these cases. Getting some, it's like you don't want to. Sometimes the details are kind of hard to go through, but sometimes the details can help solve a case.
Yeah.
Like just releasing tidbits of information that could stir somebody's memory.
Right.
So
Yeah, just like with Star's case, I mean, those circumstances definitely point to a foul play situation. I think. I mean, got knocked off a bar stool by one guy, and then apparently it was another altercation where she was beaten, knocked out by another guy or something. And
well, the fact that they had two guys like and put on trial for doing it, like I would like to know what their evidence was towards those two guys.
yeah,
Like what you don't just end up in a courtroom with people
yeah,
trying to pin a crime on you for nothing. There had to be some sort of connection there. Is that Destiny Veal picture posted on Facebook March 30th? Destiny Deal.
I will have to. Which picture are you referring to? The one on the left or the right?
Yeah, which one?
And what was the comment? The
I'll put it up on the screen.
yeah, because I want to destiny.vl.98. I'm going to take a look and see here, and then I can find out.
Not sure. We will post the answer to that in the chat. We are going to get out of here.
Yeah,
We appreciate everybody for watching tonight. Big time. It really means a lot to know that people show up every week and tune in, and it really is crazy how many people share Ricky's flyers and continue to do so every day. So
yeah, I appreciate all the shares, all the likes, all the mentions. I appreciate everybody that tags me on missing persons posts and sends me screenshots of missing persons posts and messages and everything, letting me know about things so I can follow up on it and see if they still need my help or not. And
he says the
I,
picture she is wearing a black dress.
looking
I don't
here,
think that's either of these.
doesn't
Unless that's
appear to be. So I'm on that profile now, and one of them she's wearing looks like a hoodie of some kind, and the other one like a peachish colored outfit. But I'm looking at that profile, and I don't even see a picture of her on here with a black dress. Of course, you see, like that picture says April of 2019. Her profile picture on here is from September of 2019. So unless she has her settings set to where only friends can see what
probably.
friends can see what she's posting.
I bet.
Because the last post on this thing shows September 29th of last year, and that was a cover photo change. But there are other people have posted on her wall after that. Like the most recent one was March 27th by a young lady. So I don't know.
We'll look into it, and we'll post in the Ricky. You want to come back later once you find some more information, and you can post in the comments here on this show. And but thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. It's been really awesome. We will see you next Tuesday, really quick. That's how and that's what kind of is weird about this show. We do it on Tuesday one week and Thursday one week. So sometimes you get two shows right off, for like 5 days apart, and then you got to wait a whole like week to see us,
Right.
like a week and 2 days, So
I apologize for that. It's just
no, it's kind of cool, man. Like we hit them with two, and then we give them a nice break to forget about us, and then we go live, and they get that notification. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna solve some cases tonight,"
I do
we're a
want to
little
mention,
club.
just got a little tidbit just a minute ago that it is believed that Jeremy and Destiny may be together. I just got that in a private message that it is believed they may be together.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put that out there real quick so everybody knows.
All right, everybody. Well, we will see you Tuesday. We'll
Yep.
have a full lineup for you. This has been a Fat Kid production. If you want to start a podcast of your own, hit me up. I'd love to help everybody out. We have a lot of fun doing this show here. We'll see you next time. Take it
Yep. You
easy.
guys have a good night and see you this coming Tuesday, 9 o'clock.
All right, have a good one.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought in a person, the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arms. To this playful assault, to disgrace in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it, whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water left with all the thorns, with the petals gone.